Unai Emery's first season at Arsenal has been a bit of a mixed bag. They had a fantastic unbeaten run, they made it to the Europa League final, but there was also the whole situation with Meza Azul and they didn't manage to gain a Champions League spot. Ahead of a big summer of spending, what will Arsenal's 11 look like at the beginning of next season? That's what I'm here to present in the next few minutes. First off, in between the sticks, who else but Bert Leno? A fantastic first season for him after signing from Leverkusen, and now with Petr Cech having retired, the German is definitely number one. This does leave Arsenal with a bit of a problem though, as Dejan Iliev, the Macedonian keeper, is the only other first-team keeper they have, and he hasn't made a Premier League appearance as of yet. So Bert Leno is definitely number one. On to the first choice at right back, and it's got to be Hector Bellerin, despite the fact he's been injured since January. A long road to recovery has almost come to an end for him, and he should be fit for the start of the season. Elsewhere, Ainsley, Maitland, Niles filled in pretty well, but I'm not so sure he's a right back. He spent most of his youth days at central defensive midfield, and he can also fill in at left back, and it seems that he's too much of a utility player to nail down one spot. Alongside this, Stefan Lichtsteiner only lasted 1 year at Arsenal and has now left on a free transfer, so Bellerin doesn't have much competition and will definitely be right back. So next up, let's look at the centre of defence, where Arsenal really need to take a long, hard look at themselves. As for the defensive unit as a whole, they don't need to change the whole of it, but maybe 1 or 2 new signings would help, especially in the centre of defence. Last year, Laurent Koscielny, on his way back from a ruptured Achilles tendon, was their best defender, aged 33 and partly injured. With all that he's been through, he can't be expected to lead the line in the future. Alongside this, and Shkodran Mustafi had a nightmare of a season. It was littered with mistakes, and he was much to blame for many of Arsenal's poor performances. Rob Holding looks like a good youngster, but he's not quite at that level just yet, and I'm not sure if he'll ever reach the top level as a centre-back. So this leaves Socrates. He has been a good defender, not brilliant, but he's the best Arsenal have got at the moment, certainly within the current squad. So if he plays alongside him, I think a new signing in the shape of Joachim Andersen could be brilliant for them. It's no wonder that the Sampdoria defender's been on the top of many teams' list, and it looks like a battle could ensue between Arsenal and North London rival Spurs for his signature. They do want around 23 million for the Danish defender, but if Arsenal do manage to bring him in, they'll be bringing in someone who fits their style of play so well. He's a ball-playing centre-back with a fantastic eye for a forward pass, and of course can do the defensive side of the game absolutely brilliantly. I can see this as being a massive plus for Arsenal, and at age 23 he's got years to grow into the role as well. Into the left back role, and there could be another new signing, because in all honesty, Sead Kolasinac just has not turned out how many Arsenal fans would have hoped. Don't get me wrong, he can be a good player at times, but his final ball and his tackle lack consistency, which means he's not really helpful for a long-winded season, especially with European competition as well. This means that their new left back could be Kieran Tierney. The fullback has Champions League experience with Celtic, is a full international, and could have the kind of impact that fellow Scotsman Andy Robertson has had at Liverpool. If he has any sort of the impact that Robertson had at Anfield, I'm sure Arsenal fans will look back of it as one of Emery's best signings. Into the midfield now, and 2 defensive midfield positions, and one of them is a staple of the Arsenal team. It's Granite Xhaka. Now, he has come under some criticism for his performances, and especially for his athletic abilities, but he possesses a fantastic pass and a brilliant long-range shot, and is a real leader in the Arsenal dressing room. And God knows they need a few of those. Alongside him, well, Matteo Guendouzi's had a brilliant first season in the Premier League, but is still a youngster and still needs time to develop. I just hope that with so many central midfielders ahead of him, he still manages to get the minutes and turn into a top player. He's actually currently away with the French under-21s in the European Championship. Alongside Xhaka this season has been Lucas Herrera. I think he's been a brilliant signing for Arsenal, has shown real flashes of brilliance, but there are so many rumours saying that he's unhappy and linking him with a move back to Serie A with AC Milan that I think is maybe a little bit true. If this does happen, then they can go back to the club that they signed him from, which was Sampdoria, and maybe bring in Dennis Praet. Apparently this is also part of the deal to bring in Joachim Andersen. The only stumbling issue is that Sampdoria don't really want to lose both, so Andersen should definitely be a priority. If all of this comes true, then they could do no worse than looking at Lorenzo Pellegrini from Roma. The 22-year-old is thought so highly of in Roma that they're willing to give him a new contract and even the vice-captaincy. But if Arsenal manage to swoop in there and take him away, well, they'll be getting a brilliant asset both defensively and offensively. He's a box-to-box midfielder with loads of energy and a creative pass as well, so he'll definitely be able to do wonders alongside Granite Xhaka, the slightly less mobile centre midfielder. Of course, with Aaron Ramsey leaving the club as well to head to Juventus, they desperately need someone to fill in that role, and Pellegrini could be the answer. So the attacking midfield position is rather an interesting interesting one for Arsenal. They do seem to have talent in these positions, but they just can't get them playing consistently or playing all well together. So much so that there's rumours linking Arsenal with Yannick Carrasco. Now, the Belgian midfielder made the bold move of leaving Atletico Madrid and European football altogether to go and fill his bank account in China. But after a few years of collecting a load of money, he obviously wants to come back. This would be a brilliant signing for Arsenal. He's got international experience, he's even scored in a Champions League final, and is such a versatile player that he can play anywhere across the attacking areas of the pitch. On the right hand side, they've also got the returning Rhys Nelson from Hoffenheim, but I'm not quite sure whether they're ready to give him the starting role just yet. Even so, if they do sign Carrasco, both him and Nelson can push each other on and both develop into top players, especially Nelson. So if things look brilliant on the right hand side, Arsenal could make things look brilliant on the left as well if they manage to bring in Bournemouth's Ryan Fraser. Now, in the last few weeks, he has said that he's not intent on leaving the club just yet, but I'm sure with a big enough offer, his head will be turned, and the fact he can move from Bournemouth to Arsenal. That's no disrespect to Bournemouth, they've done a brilliant job keeping themselves in the Premier League, but a lot of it is down to Ryan Fraser. The Scotsman managed 14 assists last season, that's second to Eden Hazard in the whole of Europe. As for what he can bring, well, we all know about his pace, his direct running, and his ability to pop up with an assist at the perfect time. As mentioned before, around 30 to 35 million may do the trick for Arsenal, which is a pretty good deal, especially in today's market. Behind him, there'll be Alex Iwobi. Now, the Nigerian hasn't really filled all of that early career promise, and I don't see him going on to be the better player or definitely the key man at Arsenal. He'll have a good tussle with that left attacking midfielder spot with Ryan Fraser, and can also help out along the attacking line with his versatility. As for a starting lineup, I definitely see Carrasco on the right, Fraser on the left, and in the middle, it could be Meza Azul. Now, so much has been made of the German this season. Apparently he wants to leave, he's not happy, but when he turns it on, we all know he could be a brilliant player. My one issue with Ozil is that he always looks to be out of position. If he's played in a wide spot, he never tracks back, he's lazy, he's not quick enough, and it just doesn't quite work. With the solid structure of a team around him, I really believe that he could be a brilliant number 10. He can play the key passes in those roles, he's got a brilliant eye for goal, and his technique is second to none. It's just whether or not Emery can get him on board and get him playing the football, which the Arsenal fans are dying to see, because after that spat with Emery in the Europa League final, it looks like many of them are very, very unhappy with him at the moment. The other reason why I see this happening is because Meza Azul just can't be sold. No one's willing to pay a load of money for him, and then his ridiculous wages on top. So eventually he'll just have to knuckle down and get on with playing football, lest he becomes a bit of a meme and a joke in the latter years of his career. As for Henrik Mecca, well, again, he's versatile across the front three. He's shown some brilliant moments, but I just don't think he's at the level that Ozil was at on his day. He could, of course, be a brilliant substitute and someone who could fill in whenever Ozil isn't on form. According to this season, that's going to be quite regularly. So of course we now come to the striking spot, where it's one of two players. Despite playing pretty well together this season, Lacazette and Aubameyang probably know that they're fighting for one spot up top. And for me, it's got to be Lacazette. Aubameyang's inconsistency just does not make him the kind of striker that Arsenal need. Yes, he did become a joint golden boot winner by scoring 22 goals this season, but he could have had a lot more. In fact, had he tucked away that penalty against Tottenham, Arsenal would be in the Champions League and things would be looking a lot brighter. As for Lacazette, he's just brilliant. His all-round play is so good that even when he's not scoring as many goals, he still has a fantastic impact on the team. The thing is with Aubameyang, when he's not scoring, he's not doing much else. Yes, he can run in behind, but his link-up play, his hold-up play, and his overall game just is not good as Lacazette. Barcelona have apparently been interested in the Frenchman for around £70 million, but if Arsenal know their worth, they'll definitely be wanting to hold on to him. So there you have it. There is my Arsenal starting 11. We've got Leno in goal, a back four of Bellerin, Socrates, Joachim Andersen and Kieran Tierney. In the midfield, there's Granite Xhaka alongside Pellegrini. There's Carrasco, Ozil and Fraser in the midfield attacking three, and Alexander Lacazette up front. But what do you guys think? Are they going to hold on to Ozil? If not, where's he going to go? Could they switch tactic and maybe have a three-man midfield? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Smash the like button whilst you're down there, and until next time, I will see you guys later.